G'day and welcome to another crochet video tutorial. In today's video we are going to learn how to make this crochet market bag. This is great to take to the market or the shopping centre, to the beach, to the pool, anywhere you want to take your bag. This is available in 3 different sizes, but it's also an easy project to adjust to the size bag that you would like. There will be a free crochet written pattern located on my website, and there will be a link for you in the description box below the video. This bag uses an awesome method so that we actually skip a major step in when we make a bag. Generally on the side of these mesh bags you have to add a row of decreasing to get the edges of your bag to scrunch up or decrease, but in this project we don't have to do that. It automatically does it as we crochet. That's right. I don't know if this is a new idea, but it's an idea I've had in my head for years, to tell you the truth. I finally get to get it out into the world. I have 2 Karen cakes in my bag. I think they are a 200 gram ball. So this is a small size, but you can make it in different sizes. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we're going to need some yarn. I'm using the Lily Sugar and Cream. This is a worsted weight, a 10 ply or an Aran weight yarn, and it is 100% cotton. I'm going to be using a 5.5mm crochet hook. You will also need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and 2 stitch markers. The 2 stitch markers are very important because it helps us keep track of where we are. You don't need to have the locking stitch markers. You could use just 2 pieces of scrap yarn. I used 2 of these. I used a whole ball, and then I've got, I would say, half of a ball, just over half of a ball left to make my crochet bag. If you're going to make the largest version, I would recommend having 3 on standby. You may get away with 2 depending on your tension, but I would definitely recommend having 3 if you have them. You can also use acrylic to make this project. Acrylic is going to stretch a little bit, so you may want to make your bag slightly smaller than what you want the outcome, but it is perfectly fine for this project. If you want to use a thinner weight yarn, you are just going to have a smaller bag when you are finished. We are going to start with a slip knot. You can do this any way that you like. You can use the foundation single crochet, or you can use a chain and single crochet all the way back across. If you need a foundation single crochet video, there is one just going to pop up here. I am going to be using that, but if you need it more in depth, the video tutorial is a great way to start. So we're going to chain 2, we're going to single crochet in that very first chain, but before we complete our single crochet, we're going to make a chain 1. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to make our single crochet. We're going to go back into the chain, pull up a loop, make a chain, and then pull through 2. Go back in the chain, pull up, make a chain. So you see that I'm just grabbing onto that chain, so I know where it is for the next step. Pull through, make your single crochet, go back to the chain. And this is where, if you haven't done this before, the tutorial breaks it down step by step and is much easier to learn from than this bit here, because I'm going to go a little faster. So we're just working into that chain, hold it, complete the stitch, go back into the chain, go through 2 loops, pull up, make your chain, hold on to it, pull through, go back. Just by holding on to that chain, it makes you remember where the chain is, because at first it just looks like a bunch of spaghetti and you're not going to know where to go into. And I found by just holding on, it makes you have a better visual on where your hook needs to go. So complete this. You can make all different size bags with this pattern. I need to make my chain, complete my stitch. It's gone really loose, hang on. And you can see it's working up nice, and it has this lovely edge to it as well. I have 20 stitches, and I'm going to measure it because I know people like to know how long my crochet has turned out. So this has turned out 6 inches or 25, no hang on, 15 centimetres. 6 inches, 15 centimetres, and that's how long the top of my bag is. So if you're using a different weight yarn or even a different size crochet hook, that's what mine's turned out. You may need to add some more. You may need to add less. You can't even add less. Do less. Once we have our stitches, we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work around, and we're going to work back down our crochet, and we're just going to do a single crochet stitch. And this is going to be the stitches for our top of our bag. And this part you can do as many single crochet rows as you like. Probably going to do 5. Sounds like a good number. Once we get all the way across, we're going to repeat what we just did. Make sure you go into that last stitch. The last stitch is just going to be that chain from the previous row. How do we get to both loops? I like to get both loops and it doesn't leave a big hole. Let's just check to make sure that's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep, so I did have to get that last chain. I'm going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work around, and we're going to single crochet all the way across. And we're going to repeat this until we have 5 rows of single crochet. Again, you can change this if you want to, but you just got to remember that whatever you do on this part of it, we've got to do at the other end when we finish the body of our bag. So you can either write it down or you can just count your rows when we get to the other end of the bag. So pause the video and I'll see when we finish this section. I finished my 5 rows of crochet, and now it's time to start the main part of the bag. Put our crochet hook back in there, and we're going to do a chain 1. We're going to grab our stitch marker and we're going to put it in our chain 1. You can try this without stitch markers, but I guarantee you are not going to be able to tell where it is at first, so stitch markers are our best friends in this project. The next stitch we want to do a double crochet, so we yarn over first, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Into the next lot of stitches, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing increasing so that we can make our bag wider. So what we need to do is chain 1, double crochet into this next stitch, so this will be the 3rd stitch across. So we're going to double crochet in there, we're going to chain 1, work another double crochet and chain 1 into that very same stitch. And we're going to do this all the way across until we have 2 stitches left on our row. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, chain 1, and that's the repeat across. Again, the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. Repeat this all the way across and stop so that we have 2 stitches at the end of our row. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I'm coming up to the end of my row. You'll see that it's really loopy. That's because I've just frogged it and done it again. So I've done my double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. I've got 2 stitches left. So we double crochet into the second last one. We don't do a chain, and then we slip stitch down into our last stitch. So go down in here, grab our yarn and pull through. Give it a little tug just so it kind of disappears. It makes it a better edge. So just see how it kind of just disappeared a little bit there. And now what we want to do is chain 1, grab our stitch marker, and we're going to put it in. I'll show you after. And we're going to have 2 loops at the front and then 1 loop, a little itty bitty loop there at the back. I found that gives a nicer foundation when we come back to crochet in it. We crochet under those 2 loops and it just makes life easier, really. What we're going to do now, we've got our chain 1 here. We're going to turn our work around. If you do a chain 1 and turn, or turn and then chain 1, do whatever you are comfortable with. I just seem to have got into a habit where I chain before I turn my work. If you've crocheted for a long time, you would know, or for a little while, you would know what I'm talking about. If not, just do what you're comfortable with. It's all good. So we've done this stitch here. Into this next stitch, which is our double crochet from the previous. If you can't figure it out, just turn it around and you'll see this stitch here is our double crochet, and then we slip stitched into there. So if you turn it back around, very first double crochet, we're going to work a double crochet and a chain 1. As we work across, we're going to ignore the chain 1s that we did, and we only work into the double crochets. And this is the same for all of our rows that we do for the main body of the bag. So we've got our chain 1, we're going to find our next double crochet, which is here, and we're going to double crochet and chain 1 into that same stitch. So chain 1, find the next double crochet, which is here. As we do this next row, the stitches space out a little bit and it makes it much easier to crochet into on the row after this. So into the next double crochet, we've already gone in there, into that next double crochet, we're going to do a double crochet and a chain 1. I apologise for my little stitch markers tapping away there. So yarn over, have I done my chain 1? Yes. Yarn over, go into the next double crochet, do a double crochet and a chain 1. We're going to repeat this all the way to the end, and we're going to stop when we have 2 stitches left. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I'm up to the end of my row, and you have your slip stitch that's marked, and then you have your double crochet that's next to it. So that there is our slip stitch from previous row. No, slip stitch? No, sorry, chain 1. Sorry, if I said slip stitch before, it was supposed to be a chain 1. That's a chain 1 from before, and that is our double crochet just there. So I've done my double crochet, my chain 1, and I'm just going to do a double crochet into that double crochet. So in there. And into our chain 1 down here, I'm going to work a slip stitch. And what we're going to do is grab the 2 loops that are at the front. Can be a little bit of a pain, but just do it slowly. You'll grab them. There you go. I'm going to grab that, and we're going to work a slip stitch. See that stitch there? That's what I mean by it going a bit loose. So you're just going to get a bit of a tug on there, and it will just cinch down. You need to readjust your yarn, and then we're going to make a chain 1. Don't make your chain 1 too tight, because you do have to crochet back into that. And I found if I did it too tight, it was a right pain to try and crochet back into it. Grab your stitch marker and we are going to mark our stitch and turn it back around, and we're going to repeat the row. So we're going to double crochet into that one, chain one, and then you see how they're more spread out now, our double crochets and chain one. Makes it much easier to work in. And as we do a few more rows, I just went to say round again. As we do a few more rows, it will be even easier to see where it is, and you'll be able to feel with your fingers as you crochet. You'll be surprised how much that helps you. So double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, and this is going into all of the double crochets from the previous row. So repeat this all the way across. Pause the video. Oops, yarn's gone slack. Don't forget, you've got to stop 2 stitches before we get to the end. And what you'll notice is this edge here will be very, what's the word? It'll be tight and it will be gathered. As we go along, the gathering will stand out a lot more, but at the moment you can't really tell. But as we go along, this edge here, I've just got to tell you this bit in case you think, what is going on with my crochet work? As you're going along, this is going to be tighter because we're only doing a slip stitch and the rest of our row is a double crochet. So don't freak out when the edge of your project looks ridiculous, because it'll totally make sense when we get to the handles and stuff on the bag. Pause the video and I'll see it when we're at the end of the row. I am at the end of my row and I have a double crochet left and also the mark stitch, which is the chain one that we have there. So what we're going to do, I've done my chain one up there, so I've done my double crochet, chain one, and then I'm just going to do a double crochet in this stitch. And remember, we don't do our chain one there. If you do a chain one, it's probably not going to matter, but try not to. In the scheme of things, no one's even going to see it, so you know, it'll only be you that knows it. I'm going to take this out, and if I'm going to try, this hole where the words try again, the stitch marker, you can see it's making a little hole there. That's where you want to jam your crochet hook. It looks tiny, but once you get your crochet hook there, it's not that small. So I just turn it to the side, makes it easier for me. So you go through under 2 loops, grab your yarn and pull through, and then we make our slip stitch and then give it a tug. You've got to make that little toot as you do it, otherwise it doesn't work properly. And then we're going to make our chain one. Also too, make sure your chain one's not too loose. Going to pop that through, through there. Got the 2 loops, and then turn our work around. And what we're going to do is just repeat what we just did. So the double crochet and chain one on the main section here, and it's a double crochet into that one, slip stitch at the end, chain one and turn. You know the moves. If you can't remember, just go back in the video and it'll all be there for you. And we're going to repeat this. This bag, I have done 28 rows of just the double crochet and chain one. So not including the increase row where we did 2 stitches in the one. If you are making the medium size, I would recommend, and if you are doing the large one, I would recommend, of course, this bag is very easy to adjust to any size really that you need. You could make it smaller than this, but let me know what you choose. Are you doing the small, the medium, or the large? Here is one I prepared earlier, and you'll see here that that's the 5 rows of single crochet. Then as we go along, this is where we do our slip stitches and chain ones, and you'll see that, can you see that's all gathered together? Where this is just all lovely and flat. This is all gathered together. So this is what the edge of your bag is going to look like. And it needs to look like that because that's how this pattern works. Because we've used that shorter stitch, that's just how it comes out. which is amazing because that's what we want it to do. And what we're going to do is work on the decreases now. So our first stitch, I've done my chain 1 and I've turned. My next stitch is a double crochet. We are going to complete a double crochet like we have been doing on previous rows. So that bit stays the same. Because we're going, was that even in the screen? I don't even think it was. You've done enough double crochets. I don't need to tell you now how to do it. We are working on our decrease rows now. So into the top of this double crochet and the next double crochet, we're going to work a single crochet decrease. If you've done one before, go ahead and do that. If you haven't, I will show you how to do that. Into the double crochet, we're going to go through, put our crochet hook through, and we're going to pull up a loop. If you were going to do a single crochet, you would just yarn over, pull that yarn through the 2 loops. But because it's a decrease, we'd leave those 2 on. We go into our next double crochet, go in with our crochet hook, grab our yarn and pull it through. We now have 3 loops on our crochet hook. We're going to yarn over and then we're going to pull it through all 3. Across the next 2 stitches, the next 2 double crochet stitches, sorry, we're going to do our decrease. So we're going to go into that double crochet, pull up a loop, go into the next double crochet, pull up a loop. We've got 3 on our crochet hook and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. I'll show you one more time. So we're going to decrease over these 2 stitches. We're going to go in with our crochet hook, pull up a loop. I'm trying to keep these loops firm, I wouldn't say tight, but firm on my crochet hook because sometimes they do get a bit loose, so just watch that. So into the next stitch, yarn over. I've got quite good tension up here, pull through, and I'm not pulling my crochet hook to get big loops either. Yarn over and pull through all 3. We are going to work this across until we have the last 2 stitches, which is our double crochet and our chain 1. Blue, it's very pretty. Okay, so pause the video, work your way across, and I'll meet you when we have 2 stitches left. And if you've done it correctly, which I actually did, you should just have, so I've done my decrease there, you should just have a double crochet and your chain left. If you have done that and got it right, then pat yourself on the back. Because sometimes you get to the end and you don't have that, which can be very frustrating. If you don't, it means you've probably missed a stitch or somewhere you've lost a stitch, gained a stitch. If you can, just fudge it. Just decrease more or something. It really won't matter. No one is going to know. No one is going to know. Single crochet into the double crochet. Because we're now just working single crochets. So we're going to take this stitch marker out and we're going to single crochet into that one there. Now, if we have done this right, we should have 20 single crochets or the amount. So if you've done a different amount for your first, remember the first starting row we did with single crochets and we started with 20 for the small, you should have the same amount that you started with. That's what you should have now. Give it a count and make sure you got the same. So I've chained 1. Have I chained 1? I have not chained 1. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. And we're going to work a single crochet into this very first stitch. If you need to, put your stitch marker back in. I'm going to do it, so it reminds me. So we should have 20 single crochets. Did I have them? Yes, I did. It is a miracle. I'm that person that gets to the end and goes, why don't I have the right amount? So it's going to be all gathered along here, but that's what we want. And what we're going to do is work into the single crochets from the previous row that we just did. And you are going to have a bit of a looser loop. I mean, I did. Remember how I said to keep it tight? That's with me keeping it tight. So I'm going to single crochet in each stitch. It's a little hard to see when it's all the same colour. But hopefully you can see that. So single crochet all the way across, even into that last stitch, because now we're just repeating 5 rows or the amount of rows that you did on the first section of our bag. Pause the video and I'll see you at the end. I've completed my 5 rows of single crochet and now it's time for the handles. So what we're going to do is going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work around. I am going to be using the single crochet foundation row. I find this gives a better handle. If you do a chain and then single crochet into that chain, find that the chain, if it's a bag, it really digs into your arm. So if you could learn the single crochet foundation, it really does help when you make handles. But if you just want to do a chain and then single crochet into it, you can do that. But I am going to choose the single crochet foundation row. I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch. Pull up a loop. Before we complete our single crochet, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet. If you need more help with this, there is a more detailed video that I just put the link in for. I'm going to go into the chain, going through both loops, and then work a chain, and then work our single crochet. You can see here we're doing the chain and the single crochet at the same time, and for some reason it makes it so it doesn't dig into our shoulder. I don't know what the science is behind it. That's just what happens. So into the chain, pull up a loop. I like to just pinch where the chain is, depending on how you hold your yarn, I guess. But I pinch on the chain that I've made, and then we complete the single crochet. So I know that when I need to go back into my chain, it's where I'm pinching, so it's just under here. So it kind of folds when you go back in. So go back into that chain, pull up a loop, make a chain, I pinch that, grab it, pull through, and then I go back down to the previous stitch. So I know this chain above me is where I need to go. So through both loops. You've got to go through both loops, otherwise it doesn't work. Looks a bit weird. Make my chain, pinch my chain, pull through. Move my thumb down, go into the stitch, make a chain, pinch my chain, single crochet. Move my thumb down, gets into a little rhythm. I'm going to complete this for as many chains as you like, depending on how long you want your handles to be. I just want short handles on this one. I'll let you know how many I do when I've figured out how many I need to do. I have made 46 foundation single crochets, and now I'm just going to make sure that it's not twisted. And then I'm going to attach it to the other side of my bag. So this is the same section of 5 single crochets. You can attach it over here, and to attach it I am going to just make sure it's not twisted. Which it was twisted. And then I am going to slip stitch to where our last stitch is. So I've still got my stitch marker in there. So my last stitch. Oh, hang on, that's my chain one. Duh, Clare. Into my last stitch. Going to make a slip stitch. What is wrong? I know what's wrong. I'm about 1,000,000 degrees because it's hot. There we go. And just make sure it's not twisted again, because there is nothing worse than not realizing and then, you know, it's just all over. So what we're going to do is we're going to just snip off our yarn. Going to take my crochet hook out, because what you'll notice is it's going to go through that loop to finish that off. You'll notice that it's only attached by a slip stitch, and we want to attach the bottom of the foundation single crochet, which is just here. I'm going to go through 2 loops if I can somehow. And then we're going to attach it to the second stitch just there. It just gives it a nice secure join. You've joined on two threads or 2 strands of yarn. What's going on? Did I mention it's hot? It's hot. My lights are hot. I'm hot. Everything's hot. It's warm outside. Right, try that again. There you go. And I'm just going to stitch backwards and forwards just there to make it nice and secure. And I'm basically just hiding my ends as well. My yarn is a little short. My tail is a little short and it keeps falling out. Super duper frustrating. I'm just going to thread that across. Snip that off. And we have one of our handles attached. I'm going to go to the other side of our bag. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to find the other section of 5 rows of single crochet. And grab our yarn, our crochet hook, and we're going to attach our yarn into the corner here. Hello. There we go. Pull through. I'm going to do a chain, 2, and single crochet into that stitch, but we're going to work our foundation single crochet as we go. So we want to do a chain 1. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And we're going to work this until we have the same amount. That's what we had on the other side. So repeat this until we have the same amount of stitches that we did to the other side, and we're going to join our handle the exact same way that we did with the other handle. Pause the video and I'll meet you there. To neaten off the edges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a round of single crochet, and I'm going to work around the handle, around the edge of the bag. So this is where we did our slip stitches and chain ones, and then back around the handle and just work our way around. So you'll work around both handles and both sides. You could work a round of single crochet on the inner part of the handles and then across the top of the bag there. I'm not going to bother, but you could do that. Of course, this is your project. You can do whatever you want. Front of my bag here, this is the top, and then this part here is the bag. So I'm going to attach my yarn just here What I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach it a couple of stitches in from the edge there. So I'm just going to go under there with my crochet hook. You could use a different colour to make a really cool bag, but I just want to use up this ball of yarn, so I'm going to chain one to secure, pull that down, and then we're going to single crochet in every stitch on the handle. You of course can start anywhere you like, but I thought it might be easier to start on a handle if you haven't crocheted before, as very much on things like this sometimes it's hard to crochet onto the side of things, but we're going to work that out together when we get there. Crochet around the handle, and then I will meet you when we are ready to crochet the sides of the bag. Pause video and I'll see you there. Just coming down my handle here, and this is the side of the bag, so we're going to crochet into that. So on the side of our bag there's not really a certain place to go, but I'm just going to go into the holes that are there. That can work as my stitches. Basically it's where you think the next stitch would be. So you know how your single crochets are spaced out at a certain distance? Basically that same distance apart on the side of your bag. So that's too far because that's opened up like that. So let's go into there and then go into there. That looks way better. So you'll start to learn, if there's a big gap when you complete your stitch, you know that you've got to put one in there. So I think if I go here, it's going to go too big again. So let's try it. Yeah, see how there's that big hole? That's not supposed to be there. So let's go closer if I can. Doesn't matter where you work your crochet hook, just make sure if you can go under 2 loops if possible, do that, because it gives you a better, a more secure edge. I think maybe in there. I don't know if you watch Chantel from Fiberific here on YouTube, and she had a live today, a live chat, and she was demonstrating some Tunisian crochet. And she was crocheting, so basically the view you're seeing now just on her channel, and she was crocheting around I think around a tripod, saying that it's a little difficult because it's not the usual way that she would crochet. And I was like, yep, I hear you there, because that's what I do. My camera is attached to a pole. Got to crochet around it, and sometimes it's hard, especially trying to fit a big project in, because 15 centimeters or about 6 inches back from my hands here, there's a big pole in the way. And I'm not sitting comfortably, I'm actually sitting forward on my chair and kind of slouching over. Needless to say, you can't sit like this for too long. But I do it because it makes a good tutorial. Okay, we're just going to crochet along like that. You can see that edging coming along. It's looking nice and neat. It looked pretty neat before we added the edging, so you didn't have to do this if you don't want to. I just thought it might just neaten it off a bit more, and also adds, basically we're adding to our handles as well, so we sort of had to kind of crochet all the way around. Okay, we're coming up to the side of our top of our bag here, so let's get these stitches in, and then we're going to be stitching on the outside of our handle as well. so onto a handle we go. Don't like it how it goes big like that. Crocheting onto the handle's the easy bit. So crochet around until you get back to where we started. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I'm coming around and this is where I started my handle, so I'm just going to single crochet into there and then join with a slip stitch and going under that very first single crochet into the stitch there and making a slip stitch. You know what? I'm going to add one more round of single crochet, and then if you want to add more, go for it. I'm going to chain one and I'm going to single crochet, come on camera, into the same stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet in every stitch around. And now it's going to be easy this round because we just worked a round of single crochet, so now it's easy, easy peasy. Continue on, and then when you come back around, join with a slip stitch like we did before. Pause the video and I'll see you when we are finished with this bit. Oh my gosh, I love this bag. It's so cool. I actually love the shape of it too. I've got 2 balls of Karen cakes in there. I think they're 200 grams. I'll double check and put it on the screen if it's incorrect. I've just got little handles, but you could make them longer. You can definitely make this longer. You could make more stitches this way, add more rows. You could definitely play with the sizing of this bag. It's so cool. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial today. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more crochet content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet. Bye.